The Boston Marathon is one of the 7 world marathon majors, and every year it's one of the biggest celebrations in running. The pros compete for glory, brands vie for your attention, and runners fly in from all over the world for the most exclusive of victory laps. So it's time to hop on a plane and head east. This is a runner's weekend at the Boston Marathon. Yo, what's going on? Just made it into Boston for Boston Marathon weekend. I'm not going to be racing this year, but I will be here in town to put on events and support all of the runners that are here. It's Thursday. I've already got an event later tonight. It's going to be a panel with On, but first, let's get in some miles. When you're in Boston, one of the most popular places to run is along the Charles. It's flat, it's scenic, and you don't have to worry about cars. It's a great place to get in a workout or just a few shakeout miles. After the run, I found a food court by the hotel and got some food. When in Rome, do as the Romans do, so the saying goes. So I got some New Haven style pizza, which is not my favorite, but it's a style I've grown accustomed to, as my sister has lived in Connecticut for over a decade. I also got myself a flat white and a caprese sandwich, which I would end up saving for later. Time to head over to my event with On at the On Labs Boston. It doesn't start for another hour and a half, but I do want to get there a little bit early because I want to be able to film the shoe robot. To get there though, I'm going to try taking an e-bike. Let's try it. Normally, I walk to everything for Boston Marathon weekend, but this year my hotel was across the street from Boston Garden, just a bit farther out than usual. So my goal for this trip was to avoid any taxis or Ubers during the week, so I downloaded Blue Bikes, the local bike share app, and I hopped on an e-bike to get to On Labs Boston. All right, made it on the Blue Bike. It was only mildly scary, but we did it. Now let's go to the On Labs. For their main space, On had brought their shoemaker robot. I've seen it once before at the On Pop-Up in New York, but I love watching this thing. It sprays an upper onto a preformed midsole and outsole. It cures what it sprays with UV light like a filling at the dentist. It also sprays on all the color and graphics. The entire process takes 3 minutes. Along with the robot is a little bit of history for the Cloud Boom Strike light spray. They have a whole bunch of the old prototypes of both the shoe and of the robot itself, as well as a trophy case for On athletes who have been winning podiums in the new technology. They also had a bunch of pairs that people could try on, and there was even a chance to take them for a spin. On would let you get on the treadmill in the Cloud Boom Strike light spray, and there were prizes for whoever could run the fastest 3-minute segments. All right, we're going to the other room now. He said it's a 360 stage or something like that. I don't know. Let's see. In the event space, there was some Boston merch and shoes you could buy, but I was there that evening to be on a panel. On had gathered a variety of media veterans for a discussion on the future of sports storytelling. I was there as the social media guy. Now, most marathon weekend panels are a couple of high chairs on a stage in front of an audience. And there's nothing wrong with that. I've done it plenty of times, and I still do those kinds of events, but this was something kind of different. They had set the thing up as an intimate discussion that would be very professionally recorded, but not in front of a live audience. Now, I was in Kenya when all the planning calls for this event were happening, so I'm guessing they went over it all then, but This setup was a complete surprise to me, and I was nervous. Fortunately, my friend Ashley Mateo was the moderator of the discussion, so I knew that I was in good hands. The other people at this table had such a wealth of experience, so it was fun to both participate and also just to sit back and listen. I'm not sure exactly when this conversation will be available to watch, but once I do, I'll update the description with a link. Okay, conversation complete. That was a lot of fun. And there's actually like a lot of conversations that I actually have when I get together with my media friends. So I felt like it was pretty honest. Now it's late. It's like 9 something. I'm gonna hop on an e-bike and get to bed. It is about 7:30 a.m. in Boston on a Friday. Today, I'm gonna try to get a workout in. I did not sleep very much last night. I was doing a lot of work. So this is going to be rough, but I'm gonna be kind to myself. I'm gonna do the workout. I'm not gonna worry about the paces. If I have to jog the entire thing, so be it. The workout of the day was 5 times 2K threshold repeats, and it turned out a lot of the pro athletes were also in the Charles for their runs that morning. Oh my God! Yeah, guys! Yeah, guys, what's going on? I was pretty sure that I was going to have a pretty bad workout, and maybe it was the shoes, or maybe it was just a hint of that Boston magic, but I was able to hit all of my splits. Friday was going to be my day of hitting all the pop-ups, and my first stop was at Puma. They had a huge space right on Boylston, and they were launching their latest racing shoe, the Fast R3. There was a treadmill where runners could hop on and see just how efficient they would be in the Fast R3, and there were giveaways of Boston-themed Puma swag, and Puma product including the Fast R3 was available for sale. And Puma also had an event space where they would be hosting members of Project 3 as well as podcasts and interviews. Just down the street was the Saucony Popup. They had taken over a coffee shop right on the finish line. And compared to Puma, which was one of the biggest pop-ups this year, the Saucony space was modest. It felt set up more like a meeting space for group runs. From the finish line, I headed over to the expo. It was the first day that the expo was open, and it was very busy.
I've never seen the expo this crowded. People, we were going to the normal entrance. They told us all to come to this other entrance over here. And now people are trying to get back to the main area. And it's just clogged. There's nowhere for anyone to go.
My favorite thing about the Boston Marathon Expo is that they have a bit of a museum there with tokens from Boston's biggest legends. There's Bill Rogers' golden shoes, Des Linden's jacket, a note from Meb, and Catherine Switzer's sweatshirt. But the main event for me this year would be to see a panel hosted by Ali Fellter. Her guests were Emma Bates and Jess McLean, 2 athletes whose marathon careers I've been following for a little while. Now, I don't know if you've ever been to an Ali Fellter event. It is typically a highlight of many a runner's marathon weekend, and this was no exception. Back on Newbury Street, I next visited Hoka. They had a small shared space, but they had some new colors of their race product that I had not seen before, as well as their recently released Clifton 10. Outside of Hoka, I found the Pynrs truck. This year, instead of a fixed location on Newbury Street, they've opted for a mobile setup that could go to multiple places for events and meetups. ASICS had to move to a new location on Newbury Street as their usual spot was under construction. They had a bit of a space colony theme going on to dovetail with the recent ASICS Bandit collab. Natural elements were paired with space pods, and somehow this worked for me. It only made sense to go visit Bandit next. They had a space quite far from Newbury this year, as they were across the street from Boston Common. We bumped into Orange Runner outside the space, and he gave Drew and me a copy of his first printed comic book. And then we headed inside. Bandit's take on running retail is always so refreshing. Their embrace of negative space makes their pop-ups a perfect antithesis to any marathon expo. For happy hour, I was invited to attend an event with Tracksmith. They were hosting a panel on the fastest American-born black runners. Marilyn Bevins, who was the first black American to run sub 3, was there, and she did it in Boston in 1975, running a 2:55 and finishing as 4th woman overall that year. And for context, this was less than 10 years after Catherine Switzer's first Boston, and only 3 years after Boston officially allowed women to compete in the race. There is a list of American-born black women who have run sub 3 in the marathon, and that list is surprisingly short. Erica Kemp sits at the top of that list, running a 2:22 in Houston earlier this year, which improved upon her list-leading time of Boston from her debut in 2023. Sammy Akbar is second on the list with a 2:34 in New York in 2016, and Ari Hendricks is third with her 2:35 time from CIM in 2022. After the list event, Tommy, Drew, and I headed over to the Pynrs Party, and while I had tried to make a rule for myself that I would not go to any post-dinner events this year, I made an exception as this was on the way back to my hotel anyway. I talked to CJ Albertson for a bit and asked him about his shoe preferences, and then Tommy convinced me to go to the Pynrs event, but I am old and only managed to stay for a very short while. Good morning. It is about 7:30 on a Saturday here in Boston. Let's go watch the BAA 5K. How's it going? How are you? Look at these guys.
Robbie and Jared and Tommy paced me to a 5K PBs.
Congratulations.
This is my favorite Kofuzi.
Awesome. Tommy, hold this. How was the race?
The race was so good. I'm alive. I finished.
Yeah, first run after TSP?
First run after TSP. The first quarter mile felt like really bad.
Okay.
Second, third, and all the rest of them felt about the same. I'm definitely not recovered, but I had a good time.
You shouldn't be. You shouldn't be.
I'm definitely not ready for this running thing, but we're here. Great time though. I kind of like the finishing on the Boston Marathon finishing course. I've been there before, but it felt much easier and different this time.
Nice, good job, man.
All right, man.
Live, sorry. I'm still recording. Recording live. We got Tommy runs here, Kofuzi, Believe in a Run. It's going down. It's a superstar event. You know what I'm saying? 5K. Try to take it easy. 8:31 on the mile. So I can go all day. We still going? All right, let's keep going. Let's grab some people.
There were some changes this year to the 5K. They moved the finish line, so had some adjusting to do. But I think ultimately, there's probably a better setup. Now, let's grab some coffee, hopefully some food as well, and we're gonna go plogging. Hey, good morning, everybody. How are you? Good to see you.
If you've never been plogging before, it's picking up trash while jogging. And it's something that my friend Tina Muir has introduced me to. I find it to be really relaxing on marathon weekends, and it's a really good way to connect with running friends on weekends where it can be really hard to carve out time for decent conversations. My friend Dario, who I first met around mile 13 of the Chicago Marathon a few years back, and Frank, who invited me to join his running group when I was in San Francisco last year, each came to the event. And I had a chance to make some new friends too. We ended up picking up a decent amount of trash over a couple miles, and we planned the route to intersect with the 26-point True course.
All right, Drew, what you got?
That's
That's a good haul. I got flossers too, and Q-tips.
I just don't understand the person that's walking to their job, flossing, and then chucks it on the ground. It seems like a real weird set of things to be doing.
Yeah, it's like two opposite ideas.
Exactly.
My next event was at the Adidas Hub on Newbury. I was going to be hosting a running-themed game show using games that we've been playing on the Kofuzi Run Club live stream.
Oh boy, this is the space for the game show. I am nervous now.
Contestants were chosen from the audience, and the first round of the game was Name That Shoe, where I would take a super close-up picture of a shoe and contestants would have to name that shoe.
That is not an Ultra Boost. Do we have any answers from the audience? Yell it out. What do we think over here? That is correct. That was the Evo SL.
Then the second game was Whose Time Is It?, where I showed a crop version of an athlete's watch, and contestants would have to guess whose watch it was. And then we ended with a round of Adidas Athlete Trivia. I've been looking for ways for people to get together during marathon weekends that don't require running. We all have enough shakeouts on our calendars as it is. So I'm thankful for Adidas for giving us a chance to do this in person. It was great to have a live stream regular be a contestant on the show, and I know I had a lot of fun playing these games with all of you.
All right, leaving the game show. That was fun. Thanks everybody for showing up who came in person. I really appreciated you guys. I was so nervous that no one was going to come. But I think everyone had a good time. I had a good time, so thank you so much. Now we're going to head over to Runna. We got an event with them in the afternoon.
Finally that evening, I had one more non-running event, and that was with Runna. They had a pop-up space almost next door to Adidas, and I was going to be hosting a course overview session with Lou Serafini. Lou is a very fast runner who has competed in the marathon trials 3 times. He's a 2:14 marathoner and a sub 4-minute miler. He went to college in Boston and is very familiar with the course. My expertise is more from the perspective of the middle of the pack, as a runner who thinks that none of the portions of the Boston Marathon course that are described as flat are actually flat. And I think this point-counterpoint kind of worked for this session. There were way more people there than I had anticipated, and it was a great way to share some of my thoughts on a tricky course.
That Runna event was really fun. Lou and I have a really good kind of like on-screen chemistry, if you want to say. A little bit of point-counterpoint, which was really fun to be able to do with him, and great to be able to just talk about Boston Marathon a whole bunch. I really enjoyed it. Yo, look at this guy. What's going on, man? Hey, thank you for coming today. I really appreciate that. Just ran into Aubrey, Fino at Running Shoes World, saw Jeff, saw Greg. That was fun. They're going to a dinner, which I'm trying to avoid all the dinners this year. I'm exhausted, so I got no more gas left. I got to go back to my hotel. I got to get some videos out. I got to get a video out from the game show today and put that on YouTube. So hopefully that's out by the time you're seeing this. And then I'm gonna get that pizza and eat it in bed. Although I'm not gonna eat it in bed, because yesterday I had the pizza in bed and I definitely spilled a whole bunch of pizza grease all over the bed, and that's embarrassing. So I'm gonna have pizza in my hotel room and call it a night. Good morning. It is a little bit after 7 a.m. on a Sunday in Boston. We're gonna hop on a bike and head over to Rabbit for a shakeout. But first, we're gonna stop by the Believe in the Run shakeout, which happens to be at the same address. All right, nice and easy. It's a lot cooler today than it was yesterday. Yesterday it was hot, it's like 80 degrees. Today it's brisk and a bit windy. That big crowd I just saw was for Believe in the Run. That's where I'm going.
The Rabbit Shakeout in Boston is one of the two biggest events I do all year. The energy is always so good, and it's becoming a bit of a reunion. There's that group of Hmong runners that I first met in Minnesota, coaches who tell me that their athletes will send them selfies that they take with me, runners who I've met in multiple cities, and new friends that embrace me like a long-lost cousin you haven't seen in a decade or two.
I'm gonna say yo. You guys are gonna say what's going on when I turn around. Are you guys ready?
Yeah.
Yo! Everyone ready? Yeah. Let's go! Gonna make sure we get everybody that's going back to Rabbit. Make sure we don't lose anybody.
Afterwards, there was plenty of time for snacks and selfies, and I really felt like we had a beautiful send-off for everyone getting ready to race the next day. Guys, for my long run today, I'm gonna try to head out far onto the course. I got 13.7 miles on deck. So I'm gonna take the train out, the commuter rail. Got my ticket. Hopefully I'll make it. Because if I miss it, the next one isn't for 2 hours.
getting started now. Gonna run about 13 miles back to the finish line. And I'm just realizing now that I didn't actually check to make sure that the route that I'm running, which is the Boston Marathon route, actually has sidewalks the whole way. So let's cross our fingers and hope. It's gonna be a good place to call it. Feeling good. For the past couple of majors, I've been getting footage of the pros as they prepare to head to the start line. It's typically a quiet moment, a pregnant moment, and it's one of my favorite things to witness. I wasn't sure if I was supposed to be there, so I tried to fade into the background and not be seen. But my friend Laura Thweet clocked me pretty quickly. Coach James McCurdy also spotted me pretty quickly, as did Clayton Young. But soon, the thing I had come to see would begin. Before the athletes board the buses for the long trip up to Hopkinton, the race organizers have the athletes march in procession through the hotel lobby, and they cheer them on. I tried to be professional and not say anything at first. It was just so exciting that eventually I couldn't contain myself. Yes, Sharon? Yeah, Dakota? Let's go, Reed.
Let's go, Rory. Come on, Nate. Let's go, Nate. Let's go, Nate.
Once the pros left, I had some time before the race would begin. I met with Tommy for some coffee. We found some friends as they boarded their buses to Hopkinton, and then we found our way to the best seats in Boston. Unlike other marathons, you can't buy grandstand access, as far as I know, in Boston. But if you are a guest of Adidas or the BAA, you might get an invite to hospitality in the library. There's carbs, there's burritos, indoor bathrooms, coffee, and booze. We followed the races on the TVs as they unfolded, and it wasn't long before the wheelchair division came through the finish line. We saw John Career make a decisive move in the Newton Hills to break open the race, and it was incredible to see this athlete who I first met just before his second LA Marathon win in 2022, and who I witnessed winning the Chicago Marathon in 2024, now run through the finish line in Boston straight into his brother's arms.
He was crying, I was crying, and then we told each other we have made it, and our plan has that what we came to achieve in Boston has happened. So we enjoy it, and we prayed and said thank to God.
There was a three-way sprint finish for the line for the next few spots. Alphonse Simbu overtook Cyprien Kotup for second, with Connor Mance coming in fourth and top American. And if Boston were record eligible, Mance's 2:05:08 finish time would be an American record. Rory Linkletter raced fellow BYU alum Clayton Young down Boylston for a sixth place finish and top Canadian spot, with Clayton following just 2 seconds behind with a near 1 minute PB for 7th place overall and 2nd American. For the women, Helen Obiri was the favorite as 2-time defending champion, but Sharon Lokedi has come in 2nd in Boston last year, and she finished 4th in the Olympics in Paris, right behind Helen Obiri. Sharon has also had incredible success on the other hilly major, New York, winning in 2022, and after a dominant performance at the New York Half just a month earlier, I knew she was poised to have a championship day. Jess McLean, who had come into the race eyeing that top American spot, achieved her goal, finishing 7th overall. Annie Frisbee, who I thought was due, long overdue, for a big performance, came in 8th for 2nd American, and Emma Bates secured that 3rd American spot with a 13th place finish. Olympian Dakota Popane came in 4th American, and for 5th American, one of the top storylines of the day was Des Linden in her last professional marathon.
No, we're just going to go to mile 27 and see what happens from there. And then there's going to be planning for the next stage. I'm not done professional running, but this was it for the marathon. It was all in, no regrets, only memories.
Good day, good race. I was happy to take 7th. New PR, 207. Went out aggressive, covered some moves, got dropped, rallied again, got to duke it out with Rory over the last, 800,000 meters, and yeah, it's a great day.
I saw you this morning. You had an embrace with your wife. She gave you a kiss. She said something to you. You said something to her. What words did you exchange?
Just good luck and I love you. It was very simple.
Is that what you needed?
Yeah.
All right. Great job today.
Hey, thank you.
Thank you.
I can't let you go, baby. I gotta tell you that I've been looking for love so true.
At that point, Tommy and I decided to leave the grandstands and cheer on some runners on the course. The Boston Marathon isn't perfect, but I do love this race. While it can bring out some of the worst in us, especially on social media, it can also bring out some of our best performances, our best support, and our best human connections.
Is that Carl? That's Carl, right? Carl, cameras are rolling! Cameras are rolling! You gotta run now, baby! You gotta run! Cameras are rolling! Ah!